What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Dennis, I'm the mod scientist, and today I'm finally able to upload some videos again. So in case you were wondering why it's been so long since my previous video, well, that's because half a year ago this little fellow invaded our lives, and while it's amazing to finally be a dad, it does leave little time to do any projects or actually make any videos. But today is different. He is off to the kindergarten. I've got a day off, so today is the day that I'm finally going to assemble this surf green Frankenstrat. Also, as a side note, they are renovating the house next to ours, so you might hear some noise in the background like this. Now, I will admit that this project has gone a bit off the rails. This was originally intended as a simple and fast side project about a year and a half ago. But yeah, well, I need to work on my time management. In my previous video I did express my concerns about the bridge posts, the holes were a bit close to the pickup cavity. And then a viewer of mine suggested that I use one of these brackets, as you can see here. And I've already installed one in here, as you can see. And I've actually connected the ground wire to the bracket. Actually, I don't know why I did that. Ordinarily you would attach the ground wire to the tram claw, but I did it this way, so it's there. Let's work with that. So I have a lot to assemble today, and I think I'll start with the pickups and the electronics, and then move on to the neck, and then finally install the bridge. So I've put the pickups in the correct place, and I've run the wires through the body, but I can't screw them down just yet because I need to align the pole pieces with the strings, which can only be done once the bridge and the neck are installed. So I have to wait for that, and until then I've taped them down using a bit of masking tape. I've also taken the volume pot and the switch, and I've just put them inside upside down, as you can see, so that makes it easier to solder them. I accidentally threw away the original jack plate, which I needed to install the output jack. But until then I will use this Telecaster output jack, which fits perfectly into this hole, so that will be a temporary solution until I can get the final jack plate. So it's now time to move on to the neck. I'll install the tuners and then I'll attach it to the body. And that's the locking tuners installed. Now you might be wondering, why would you install locking tuners on a Floyd Rose equipped guitar? Well, if you've ever restrung a Floyd Rose guitar, then you know that even locking tuners will heavily help with restringing the guitar. And in fact, I equip all of my guitars with locking tuners. I just love them. And just like that, it's starting to look like a proper guitar again. So now that I've installed the bridge, I've attached 2 cloth wires to the locking nut, like this. And this serves 2 purposes. The first one is to adjust the angle of the neck, so the strings are straight going from the nut to the bridge, which did require a bit of adjustment. And the second is, now I have 2 strings to which I can line up the pickups, so I can finally install those. Now originally this guitar came with 1 pickup, which was mounted through a pickup ring. You can still see the holes here, but I'm going to direct mount these pickups. So I picked up a couple of 2.5 by 16 millimeter screws. I also have some 20 millimeters in case the 16 don't cut it. And in order to raise the pickups from the cavity, I've cut up the packaging in which the pickups came to cut off a bit of foam, which I will stick underneath, and that will basically replace the springs that you normally have between the pickup ring and the pickups. So I'm just sticking the foam underneath the pickup using a bit of double-sided tape, and that will take care of the height for me. Make sure the strings are lined up, then I can screw it in. So I've put the strings on the guitar. It is now basically in tune. I had some little trouble with this string tree, which kept popping out, so I needed some longer screws to lock it down. I've adjusted the truss rod. I've adjusted the bridge height, so it's now 1.25 millimeters on the high E and 1.5 millimeters on the low E. The bridge is already pretty flush to the body, and it hasn't exploded yet, which is a good sign. So it's holding up right now, and all I need to do now is get the intonation right, because it's way off. Just listen to this. So I'll use this little key to adjust the intonation on the bridge, and then it should be just about done. So finally, after all this time, here is the final result of this Superstrat build. And I have to say, I'm actually very proud of the result of this project. Because I've had a lot of struggles during the process. It's been a very educative journey for me. I've learned so much, I've done so many new things. For instance, this is the first time I've done any major routing jobs, including the pickup cavity and the bridge cavities and all. This is the first time I've done such a major paint job. So I wasn't making it easy for myself, and for that I'm really proud of actually finishing it and how it turned out. It looks really nice. I like the color scheme, I like the stripe pattern, and also I quite like the neck. This is a really nice feeling neck for such a budget guitar. So I'm very happy with that. But of course there have been some problems, and there are some flaws with the guitar. Some minor ones, but also one major one. Minor flaws include the pickup height. This is the first time I've used direct mounts to install these pickups, and they're just a little too low below the strings. I need to find a way to correct that, maybe use some larger screws and some thicker padding to fill that up. Also, I still haven't made a cover plate for the control cavity. And another thing is that the cavity for the springs is too shallow. So these springs are actually touching the wood, which makes the tuning stability of this bridge a bit wobbly. So whenever you press it down, the springs catch on the wood and the tuning is off. But unfortunately the major flaw of this guitar is the intonation. This bridge is too far towards the neck. It should have been a little bit more back to allow for intonation, which I oversaw, unfortunately. I did watch a couple of YouTube clips to show me how to correctly measure the placement of the bridge, but in the end I did have this book, and this explains properly how to measure out the bridge, and I should have done that, but I didn't. So this guitar again can unfortunately not be properly intonated, so this is not a well playing guitar, a well sounding guitar. So this is more of a wall hanger now than an actually usable guitar. But I'm fine with that, because after all, this is my first project and I did not expect this to be perfect. I at least expected something that was nice looking and a little bit playable. And it is still a little bit playable, although not perfectly in tune. So I'm still happy. I learned a lot and that it has been a great journey building this instrument. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, leave a like, leave a comment. And if you'd like to see any future updates of more projects, then maybe subscribe to the channel. Next project is probably going to be this Jackson SDX. It's a really nice guitar, but it could use some upgrades, so stay tuned for that. So again, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a nice day.